Click for IB Biology. This particular topic, we are looking at environmental stability and change. And here we move on to look at the process of succession. And in this video, a brief look at the principles or the theory of succession that we're about to discuss. There's a blank version of this presentation down in the description. You can annotate that with your own notes. And then there's a quiz of 10 questions with answers so that you can check your progress. So here we're just looking at the principles of succession before moving on to look at examples. Succession is defined as a change in the profile of the plants and animals in a habitat over time. In other words, a change in the community structure. The community structure would be composed of a list of species and the relative abundance of those species and how they are interacting with each other. The change in this community structure can be caused either by abiotic or biotic factors, or indeed a combination of the two. In any process of change over time, they will go through a number of stages of change, and each stage is known as a Sere. In terms of the types of succession that you might observe, we have primary succession, where there's colonization and development of a habitat where none existed before, such as a volcanic island or the front of a glacier, a receding glacier. Secondary succession is the recolonization and development of a habitat that has been disrupted, such as when trees fall down in a forest to create a gap. Cyclic succession is where the community which is produced by continuous change does not settle into a long-term community known as the climax community, but rather continues a process of cyclic change. And finally, we will look at an example of arrested or deflected succession in which the seral stages are prevented from reaching their climax by abiotic or abiotic factors, an example of which is the grazing of grasslands. Within the examples that we're going to be looking at, the principles that we will see is that the existence of a group of organisms in a habitat causes modification to that habitat. Having modified the habitat, the new conditions sometimes become more suitable to other organisms. These organisms will flourish at the expense of the previous ones, and so therefore there is a replacement and a modification of the community over time. The examples that we're going to look at of primary succession are sand dunes and glacial retreat. For secondary succession, we will look at gap succession in the tropical rainforest. For cyclic succession, we will look at ling or heather. And for arrested succession, we will look at the influence of grazing on the uplands of the United Kingdom. The next video link takes us to our example of primary succession. The chance to subscribe to the channel is in the center there, and the playlist with all the videos in this particular topic on the right hand side. Thank you very much for listening.